Business foundation. Reflection. The true path to true discovery. Reflection. What can you learn from it? What it gives you.
Your past, your present, and, of course, your future. It gives you a better understanding and, of course, a plan. Introspection. Okay, what is it and how to do it? Then there's going to be some questions, answers, and where to put it all.
And we're going to give you some starter questions to get you going. So let's start with reflection.
The real voyage of discovery consists not in seeing new landscapes, but in having new eyes. That's an interesting quote, eh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, how do you have new eyes?
Reflections is one of the most important skills you can have. Yeah, it's a skill. Who knew?
Yeah, exactly. So you can look back on your past, you can learn from it, and then move forward. And to reflect well, you need to look at both your internal and your external experiences. So what's an internal experience? It's the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you have.
Reflection. By reflecting on your past and your current situation and your future, you can learn so much and improve your personal and business life.
It gives you a chance to step back and look at your experiences, your goals and strategies, and then adjust them so you're going in the direction that you want to go. Sometimes it gets out of control, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm. And here's the good part. You'll be doing it more than once.
You'll always be reassessing and correcting your course.
Correct and continue. Correct and continue.
Yeah. Like you said, you don't want to get off path, right?
Yeah. Well, let's look at your past, your present, and your future.
By looking at your past, you're able to better understand yourself and make wiser decisions in the present.
By thinking about your future, you can prepare for what may come and make the most of your opportunities.
Self-reflection and introspection. So you reflect using self-reflection and introspection. It allows you to give some serious thought to what you've done. And the thing is, you can't look at it like, oh, that was horrible, that was bad, or that was good. It's just look at what you've done, right?
It just is, yeah. It just is.
Where you currently are in your life and what you want to plan for the future. The unexamined life is not worth living.
Well, let's talk about a triangle. We're going to put you in the middle. What have I done? That's your history. Where am I currently? That's your current reality. And where am I going? That's your future.
And so before you decide where you want to go, you do take stock of where you are in your business right now, right? And you got to be honest. You may not even have an idea of what your business will be, or maybe you've already got some things going. Either way, but be objective. Keep your emotions out of the picture. Don't beat yourself up for not being further along than you are.
You are where you need to be right now.
Right. Or maybe even beat yourself up because you're too far and you decide you want to go a different way, right?
Introspection. How do you introspect your life?
So introspection is a process of looking inward at one's past experiences, current situation, and future thoughts without judgment, and then writing them down. If you don't have a record of it, you'll never remember.
Yeah.
But how do you think introspectively?
By asking yourself some powerful questions.
Oh.
The old question mark.
Exactly. And here are some. They're an important part of your life. They can help you learn, grow, and understand yourself better.
Yeah, the more powerful the question, the more powerful the answer will be. Questions can help you explore new ideas, think critically, and get to know yourself better. Well, let's look at this. You got on the left side, you got questions. On the right side, you got answers. So questions are the bridge to the answers you are seeking.
And the interesting thing is, a lot of times the answers are within you, but you just don't know they're there. And by asking powerful questions or the right questions, these answers come up.
Mm-hmm. Very true.
It's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, how do you organize all these questions and answers? There are many different ways to do this. And the most important thing is to find a system that works for you. There's a few ways to organize.
You got some mind maps, pen and paper. Oh, old school.
Old school.
Index cards. Oh, old school again. Etc.
Etc. That's old school too.
Yeah.
You get to choose what works best for you. Well, we're going to talk about mind maps. Why we like to use mind maps? Well, it's easy to brainstorm. It's easy to collapse and expand thoughts. Easy to reorganize.
You can have multiple maps and you can link them together. You can add external links. And you can add some images and graphics. Now, if you've already... Oh, here we go. There's one more. Easy to organize. Okay, we already said that, but it is a cool thing.
It's a cool thing, yeah.
It's a good feature for that. Maybe you've already used mind maps and you'll know what we're talking about. If you haven't, you might want to give it a try.
Right. Well, here's one of our mind maps that we've used in the past. We still currently use. So this is kind of like the high-level mind map. And then that links to all these other detailed mind maps. So that's kind of why we like mind maps. You can start at a very high level and then drill down to more important stuff. Okay, we're going to have a mind map with a bunch of questions.
And there's questions in here that you can ask yourself, some powerful questions.
Alrighty, here we are in the mind map. Reflections, the path to true discovery. As you go through these starter questions below, an optional exercise is to group these personal questions into the following areas of your life. You can group them to your past, your present, and your future. Now, your present, this is your current reality. Nothing good or bad. It just is.
The following starter questions are just a very small starting point in reflection of oneself, but it's a good way to get started. Other questions and thoughts will come up, so again, write them down, whatever comes to mind, and you can organize them all later.
Yeah, I think the important part is set aside some time, sit down, think, and write.
Mm-hmm.
Remove all distractions. Don't be afraid of what you might discover. Give yourself permission to be honest, raw, and real.
And to help stay on the right path with your self-reflection, consider asking more what questions than why questions. Because why questions can highlight our limitations and can stir up some negative emotions, like, why is this happening to me, right? While what questions can help keep us curious and positive about the future. What can I do to move my business forward?
Right. The other thing, have you define what is your purpose? What is your vision? What is your mission? What are your main goals and objectives? Well, let's start with personal questions. These are the personal starter questions. And the good place is the 5 W's.
Who do I want to hang out with? Who do I not want to hang out with? So who's going to bring you down? Who's going to bring the wrong vibes, into your sphere?
I was waiting for you to say my name, but I guess I'm okay then.
There you go.
What do I want to do with the rest of my life? What gets me excited to get up in the morning? What do I want to acquire along the way?
What do I want to contribute along the way? I find that that's an important one.
Mm-hmm.
What matters most in my life? What's on my bucket list?
What's the biggest lesson I have learned? I have a lot of big lessons.
I think we all do.
What stops me from stepping out of my comfort zone? Well, let's look at when.
When did my work feel real, necessary, and satisfying? When do I feel most energized? When do I feel the happiest in my skin?
Where do I like to hang out? Where do I want to go or to visit?
Oh, now, even though we said why questions aren't great, there are some okay ones too. Like, why am I here? Well, that's a big one.
It's, again, introspection. You're like, why am I here? If you can figure that, it's good for you.
Yeah.
Not negative, the positive parts.
Mm-hmm.
How do I feel about my vision for my future? Now, these are, again, just starter questions. There's going to be more, but these are going to get you started. Here's some other personal questions. What is my success? What are some things that must happen in order for me to feel like life is a success?
And that's going to be different for so many people, or for everybody, actually. So what are your accomplishments, your core strengths, your unique abilities, and your perceived weakness?
Yeah, I think everybody thinks we have weaknesses, but they're just perceived.
That's right.
But write them down, get them on paper. It really helps you to see, if you go back to your accomplishments, what you've accomplished, and you did that with your perceived weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a couple what ifs. If you could turn back time, what would you do differently, and why?
If you had the opportunity, what would you tell your childhood self with everything you've learned, right? And if you continue doing what you're doing right now, where will you be in 5 years' time? Actually, even 1 year, you could look at it too.
Right, yeah. Well, let's look at your work experience, your job and your strength. What did you see as a universal challenges in your job,
That is all encompassing. Like every company would have this problem, or everybody in that industry, right?
Right.
And regional challenges.
Right.
Yeah.
In your job, your work experience, what's changing?
Where is disruptive technology happening? Okay, so disruptive technology is an innovation that significantly alters the way that consumers, industries, or businesses operate. Like the internet was an innovation that altered a whole bunch of things, right?
The last couple of years, because of COVID and all that, Zoom, online education has really taken off.
Mm-hmm.
What are your special skills? What courses have you taught? What systems have you developed?
What certification do you have? And where did you get it? Was it good, or was it a waste of time? And could you do better? You might actually find that you'll usually get one thing out of anything that you've taken. So if you can find that one thing, that's awesome.
Where are there shortages in resources, staffing, content, and training? Well, what excites and I guess it's backward. What moves and excites you? I guess you can go excites and a move, or move and excites.
Either way.
In your community, who needs help? What's missing? What's changing?
Yeah. What is coming down the pipe? How can you help? And what services are out there that are essential?
Well, let's maybe look at your passions, hobby.
Where are others who share that interest? Are they online? Do they have podcasts? Maybe they have YouTube channels. Maybe they've set up groups in LinkedIn, Facebook, or other ones, right? Mm-hmm. Community sites.
Where do you find training, ideas, and resources for your hobbies?
Maybe there's none out there. Maybe there's something that you could start up.
Right.
Who makes a living off of your interests? What does a successful business in your passion place look like? And what are your special skills?
And who inspires you? These are business starter questions. And of course, we'll start with the 5 W's as a good place to start. Who? Who is being served? Who is my target audience in my business? And we have customer questions below, so there'll be some more questions. Who is my competitors? And again, we have some more detailed competitor questions below.
Okay, now what? What is the purpose of my business? What are the biggest challenges surrounding my new business idea? What's my marketing strategy?
For my product?
Right.
Yeah, for your price and for your promotions. What's the strategies for that? What common mistakes do all small business owners make?
What will success look like to you?
What is my USP? And USP is unique selling point or proposition. One question. When do I plan on starting my business? When do I plan on marketing the business?
Where does this idea come from? And why? Why do I really want to start this business? And this is a big one because your why behind your business is a major force, a driving force in your business.
Well, let's look at how. How big of a team do I want? Do I want to be solo? Do I want a small core team? Or do I want a big, task-based subcontractors? Or do I want to be mid-sized? Good questions to ask yourself, like how big do you want to be? How will I fund my business? Am I going to use savings? Am I going to bootstrap? Am I going to get a bank loan? Can I crowdfund it? Am I going to find an angel investor? Or maybe there's some government grants. All great questions to find out.
How will I market my business?
And how will I price my product? And here's a couple other. Do I need a business plan?
Unless you're going to get some funding from somebody else, you might not need a big, huge business plan, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you obviously need a plan, but you might not need to be so detailed.
Yeah, I mean, I think business plans are a thing of the past.
Yeah.
By the time you get your business plan written, business has changed.
Isn't that the truth?
Yeah. Do I have the funds to start a business?
Can this business idea make me money now and in the future?
And can I do this alone? What are some hot opportunities?
Where's the buzz? How is it being monetized? Is this a new opportunity? And what could disrupt it? What skills do I bring to the table? And is it something I actually like or could see myself doing? One thing about this one is that sometimes hot opportunities are just a flash in the pan. So you got to look, is it an ongoing thing or is it something that can be monetized in the future too? Not just now.
You mean pet rocks aren't around anymore?
No, they're not.
Damn, But there's a good example,
Yeah.
It was the thing then, but there's. So what's the buzz? Well, let's look at goals, revenue. What are your revenue goals after 12 months? Total sales, profit. How much do you need to earn? Let's look at some customer goals.
Who are you going to serve? Why do they need your product? And how will they discover your product? If they don't know about it, they ain't going to buy it. What problems will you solve? That's a big one.
That's a big one.
What are they struggling with right now?
Everybody's struggling with something. That's a problem.
Yeah.
And what do they need from your product? Okay, so here's our custom ones. Who are my customers? What is their age group? What generation are they in? So we've got the GI generation, 1926 to 1945. You got the silent generation, 1946 to 64. Baby boomers, 61, 65 to 76, 81. Again, the year it's not set in stone, so it gives you kind of a generalization. Generation Z or X in this
Gen
case,
X,
right? And the dates, rough dates for those.
the millennials or Gen Y,
Dates for those.
and Gen Z.
Well, what are some other details about them? Are they males or are they females?
Occupation, yeah. Are they married or are they single? Do they have kids? What are their interests, etc.? I mean, you can dive really deep into who they are.
Right. And how do I find my customers?
That's important.
Well, let's look at competitors. Well, here's a good one. List your competitors or potential customers. Just
Competitors, yeah. And the thing is, having competitors isn't a bad thing. Actually, it's a good thing, because if you don't have any competitors, there's a chance that maybe this market isn't something you want to be in.
Right.
Because if they're not making money, no one's going to be there, right?
So the thing you can ask the 5 you listed is, what's their story? Where did they begin? How have they grown? What do they do well? I guess the opposite, what do they not do well?
Yeah, because you could fill in that gap, right?
Right.
What is a reputation? Is it ascending or declining? Why do you think people buy from them? And what do you do better than them?
And here's a good one. What do you do differently?
Mm-hmm.
Well, here's a couple just basic business ideas. Could you do a newsletter for a certain generation? You know, maybe it's about jobs or health news or travel and opportunities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, develop. Could you develop a phone app? That seems to be a big market right now. It's just these are just some. I mean, you're going to get more yourself. There's some practical considerations.
Time. How much time and effort do you want to put into this?
What are my startup costs?
Technology. What? And what am I going to use? For CRM, for web hosting, for all the different tech things that you need.
Right. Outsourcing. Am I going to use contractors or maybe third parties like Fiverr or Upworks? And here's some outside the box thinking. If you could have any job in the world, what would it be? What day-to-day tasks bring you pleasure? What tasks do you avoid or don't like?
What gives you the most satisfaction in your current job? And what are you really good at?
What skills do you have that others are happy to pay for?
Even if you have a job, there's certain skills you have that your company is willing to pay for, right? How are people currently do the things that you can help with the most?
What tech skills do you have? What would you spend your time doing if money were no object? If money were no object? What do people turn to you for? Who are your heroes?
Who do you really respect professionally? And why do you respect them? What do you read? What are your online habits? And what really pisses you off in any industry or business? And can you come up with a way to change that? Because if you're pissed off about it, there's a good chance a lot of other people are too.
So that's it. These are our starter questions to reflection, the path to true discovery. Back to the PowerPoint. Recap. Starter questions. The following starter questions are a very small starting point in the reflection of yourself.
And as you go through these questions, other questions and thoughts will come up. Write those ones down too.
Write them down.
Mm-hmm. The first time through, though, just get the information down.
You can organize them all later. And that's the key, being able to organize them all later. Hopefully you can see why we like the reflection process. Taking a good look at your past, being honest about where you are currently at, and making exciting plans for the future.
And of course, realigning your goals and strategies to fit into those plans. And then putting it all in a mind map where it's easy to brainstorm, collapse, expand, and reorganize. Add external links, graphics, and images, and link multiple maps together.
Business foundation, reflection, the true path to true discovery.